Okay, so, we like to dig into interesting stories here. And you sent this one over, and it's something else. This YouTube video
Yeah.
about this guy, Ken Jebsen.
Yeah.
And it's really intense. And it's not like just some dry political thing. This is like really personal and emotional.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's almost like watching someone go through a really brutal breakup. Like they're grappling with this sense of betrayal and disillusionment, but it's all wrapped up in politics. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, I mean, when the video starts out and the creator is comparing Jebsen to, get this, a dog shitting his intestines out, like, that's graphic. So for those of us who aren't familiar with German media, who is this guy?
All right, so Ken Jebsen, or K. van Suffen, which is his real name. He's a kind of a big deal in German media. He had this whole successful thing going with public broadcasting. He was on the radio. He had a popular show called Ken FM, but then he kind of went his own way, started his own platform, and that's where things got a bit, well, messy.
Messy how? Like, what kind of stuff was he saying?
So Jebsen's always been a bit of a controversial figure. He's got some, let's say, unconventional views, like he's expressed doubts about 9/11, which is not a very popular stance to take.
Right, right.
But what really seems to have set people off, including this YouTuber we're talking about, is his stance on COVID-19.
Oh, okay, so he went down the COVID rabbit hole. What did he say?
It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. This is a guy who used to command respect. A lot of people listened to him. But then he starts talking about a third world war and using this really inflammatory language around the pandemic, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Okay, so strong opinions. But what really struck me was the YouTuber's personal connection to Jebsen. They're not just talking about his ideas, they're making these accusations, right? Narcissism, broken promises, even like promoting violence. I mean, that's intense.
And that's what makes this so fascinating, right? We've got this really public figure and then this very personal attack. It all gets very murky very quickly.
Because they're saying Jebsen, like, abandoned his family, ran off with a groupie, and they're calling him out for this whole campus project, which was supposed to be this big thing, but it never even got off the ground. It almost feels like a personal vendetta.
And that's the thing about the internet, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can say anything. This video might be cathartic for the creator, but we have to be careful about taking everything at face value, especially in the digital age where things can spread so fast.
For sure. We need to be critical thinkers. On the other hand, you can tell this person is hurting, and this video is their way of dealing with it. They clearly feel let down by Jebsen.
Absolutely. And what really drives that home is how the video ends. It's this really powerful call to action, almost like a rallying cry.
Yeah, about the AfD. This is where it all comes back to German politics, right?
Exactly. You see, the AfD, it's this right-wing populist party. They're very anti-immigration, skeptical of climate change, that kind of thing. They've been gaining traction, especially in the former East Germany.
So where does Jebsen fit into all of this?
Well, according to the YouTuber, Jebsen is basically throwing his weight behind the AfD now. And for someone who used to be this voice of, reason and critical thinking, for some people at least, this is a huge deal.
Like betraying his values.
Exactly. It's like he's gone to the dark side or something. And this video is basically saying, don't let him get away with it. Vote. Make your voice heard and reject everything he's become.
Intense. And this is why we wanted to dig into this. It's one thing to read about the AfD in the news, but it's another to see how this political shift is playing out on a personal level.
It's a good reminder that behind all the political jargon and the headlines, there are real human stories. People who feel passionately about these issues.
People who feel betrayed, lied to, misled.
And what's so interesting is how those feelings can be channeled. This YouTuber, they've turned their anger into this call to action.
It makes you wonder what other stories are out there, What other personal experiences are shaping how people view politics, especially when it comes to controversial figures like Ken Jebsen and parties like the AfD.
That's the question, isn't it? And how do we, as people trying to make sense of the world, how do we engage with these stories responsibly?
How do we, separate the emotion from the facts and figure out what it all means?
And what to do about it, right?
Yeah.
It's not always easy, that's for sure.
No, it's not. But it's something we have to try to do, especially with everything that's going on these days.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think we should probably leave it there for today. This has been quite the deep dive.
It really has.
A lot to unpack, but as always, thank you for, walking us through it.
Anytime. Glad to be here.
Until next time.
See you then.